Have you ever met someone who seemed almost too perfect? The kind of person who knew exactly what to say, how to look at you, and how to make you feel like the most important person in the world. At first, it feels exciting, thrilling even. But what if I told you that behind that charm, behind that smile, is something much darker? A hidden playbook of psychological tricks designed not to love you, but to control you. Narcissists are masters of manipulation. They don't just win your trust, they hijack your emotions, distort your reality, and slowly build a cage around your mind. And the scariest part? Most people don't realize they're trapped until it's already too late. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the dark psychology of narcissists, exposing the exact methods they use to trap you and keep you under their influence. Stay with me, because once you see these tactics clearly, you'll never fall for them again. Before we dive into the darkest parts of the narcissist's trap, you need to understand the first 3 stages. These are not accidents. They are carefully calculated tactics, rooted in dark psychology, designed to disarm you, confuse you, and lock you in before you ever realize what's happening. Let's break them down. It begins with a rush. Imagine meeting someone who seems to know your soul. They text you constantly, send good morning and good night messages, shower you with compliments, and maybe even bring unexpected gifts. You feel seen, adored, and for once, truly understood. This is no accident. This is called love bombing. Psychologists describe it as an overwhelming flood of attention and affection, and narcissists wield it like a weapon. It feels intoxicating, like you're in the center of a whirlwind romance. And in American culture, where we're raised on movies and songs about soulmates and fairy tale love, it's easy to mistake this intensity for destiny. But here's the chilling truth, that intensity is not love. It's bait. Narcissists study your insecurities, your dreams, and your vulnerabilities. If you crave validation, they give you endless praise. If you want stability, they promise forever. They construct a perfect fantasy version of themselves, tailored to your needs. And while you're busy falling in love with that fantasy, they're already setting the hook. The suspense here is this: the very moment you feel the safest, when you've let your guard down, is the exact moment they're preparing their next move. Once the bait has worked and you're emotionally invested, the tone begins to shift. Small at first, a joke at your expense, a denial of something you know happened, a strange look when you express your feelings. You brush it off. Everyone makes mistakes, right? But this is no mistake. This is gaslighting, one of the most sinister tools in dark psychology. Gaslighting is the art of twisting your reality until you don't trust your own mind. A narcissist will flat out deny things you saw with your own eyes. They'll call you too sensitive, paranoid, or crazy for bringing up how you feel. And slowly, you start to question yourself. Picture this. You find messages on their phone that cross the line. You confront them. Instead of admitting the truth, they spin it back on you. Why are you snooping through my phone? Don't you trust me? Suddenly, you're the problem. You're the one apologizing. That's the trap. You're caught defending yourself, while they remain in control. Gaslighting works because it strikes at the very core of human confidence, our ability to trust our own judgment. And in a society where mental health is already a struggle for so many Americans, this tactic cuts deep. You end up doubting not just your partner, but yourself. Suspense builds here because gaslighting doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow erosion, like water dripping on stone. By the time you realize what's happening, your sense of reality is already fractured. Now comes the stage that locks everything in place: isolation. At first it looks harmless. The narcissist may say, "Your friends don't really like me," or "Your family doesn't understand what we have." You might even agree. After all, they're so convincing, so confident. But soon, the suggestions become stronger. Why do you spend so much time with them? They're jealous of us. Or even, I don't want you seeing them anymore. The goal is simple: cut you off from any outside voice that could break the illusion. Isolation is not always physical, it's psychological. Maybe you're still around your family, but the narcissist has poisoned the well. You second-guess what you share with them, afraid they'll side with your partner. Or maybe your friends stop calling because they're tired of hearing excuses. And before you know it, your world has shrunk. The narcissist's voice is the loudest, maybe the only one, in your life. In American culture, where independence and freedom are celebrated, this loss of connection is devastating. But narcissists know, the lonelier you feel, the more you cling to them. That's the cage, invisible but suffocating. By now, you've seen how narcissists set the trap. They lure you in with love bombing, twist your mind with gaslighting, and lock you in with isolation. But those are just the walls of the cage. What really keeps victims trapped, sometimes for years, is the cycle of fear and reward. It's a psychological loop so powerful, it rewires your brain like an addiction. And breaking free requires more than just strength. It requires awareness. Let's uncover how this works. Imagine you're in a casino in Las Vegas. The slot machines don't pay every time you pull the lever. They pay just enough, just often enough, to keep you hooked. That's exactly how narcissists operate. They don't keep you trapped with constant love. They keep you trapped with unpredictability. One day, they're charming, affectionate, even generous. They shower you with praise, maybe take you out, make you feel like you're on top of the world. And just when you start to relax, it flips. A sudden outburst, silent treatment, coldness that cuts like ice. You're left wondering, what did I do wrong? How do I get back to the good side? That's the loop. Fear and reward. Narcissists know that humans are wired to seek patterns. When you get a taste of affection, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. When they withdraw it, you go into panic, desperate to get it back. This push and pull rewires your brain to crave their approval, even when they're the very source of your pain. It's like a psychological slot machine. You never know when the next jackpot of kindness will come, but you keep pulling the lever, hoping this time will be different. And here's the dark truth. This isn't accidental. It's conditioning. Just like trainers use rewards and punishments to control animals, narcissists use the same psychological principles to control people. Fear becomes the chain, reward becomes the bait. And together, they build a cycle that is almost impossible to break. Think about it. How many times have people stayed in toxic relationships saying, but they can be so good sometimes? That's not love talking, that's the addiction speaking. The suspense here is chilling. You're not just dealing with manipulation anymore. You're dealing with a rewired brain. Now here's the question you're probably asking yourself. If narcissists are this skilled at control, how do you escape? The answer is not simple. Narcissists don't let go easily. But there is one weapon more powerful than all their tactics combined: awareness. The moment you can name what's happening, you begin to break free. Awareness cuts through the fog of gaslighting. When they say, "You're crazy," you can respond internally with, "No, this is gaslighting. I know what's real." Awareness neutralizes isolation. When they tell you your friends don't care about you, you can remind yourself, that's their strategy. They want me cut off. And most importantly, awareness exposes the cycle of fear and reward. When you recognize the pattern, the highs that hook you, the lows that keep you begging, you stop chasing the jackpot. You stop pulling the lever. It doesn't mean leaving is easy. Narcissists often lash out when they feel their control slipping. They might beg, guilt trip, or even threaten. But awareness gives you the clarity to see through the performance. And here's something crucial for Americans especially. You don't have to do it alone. In a culture that often glorifies independence, It's easy to feel like asking for help is weakness. But in reality, breaking free often requires support, whether from friends, family, or professionals who understand the tactics of narcissistic abuse. Think of awareness as a light in a dark room. At first, the shadows still scare you, but the longer you let that light shine, the more you see the truth. The monsters shrink, the illusions fade, and suddenly the cage doesn't feel as unbreakable as it once did. Suspense turns here into empowerment, because once you see the trap clearly, the narcissist loses their greatest weapon, your unknowing participation. Closing suspense plus call to action. So let's step back. The fear and reward cycle is the chain. Awareness is the key. The question now is, do you see the patterns in your own life? Could someone be pulling these strings around you? Love bombing, gaslighting, isolating, conditioning you with fear and reward? If this video opened your eyes, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might be trapped right now. Hit that subscribe button because we're not stopping here. The next video will dive into even darker tactics narcissists use and the subtle warning signs most people miss until it's too late. Remember, awareness is power. Awareness is freedom. And once you know the game, you can never be trapped in it again.